What is up? We are back in black in the building. Roll call. Shout out to everybody out there at the Corn Plantation doing what they need to do to survive. Handling business. Doing what they need to do. We're going to start with Arizona. Shout out to Miss Latanya. Shout out to everybody in Vegas. All my siblings in Vegas. Handling business, going to work, handling business, doing what they need to do. Shout out to the homegirl Jerica in Vegas as well. Shout out to the homegirl Shawnee. Philly in the building. Erica, Florida in the building. Shout out to my brothers Dave for No Compromise. Georgia in the building. And James Youngblood. Texas in the building. Last but not least, shout out to the homegirl Melina all the way in North Carolina, a.k.a. North Kakalaka. We got a real quick one for us. I don't know why I got to keep reminding us. Minding FBA business. That's what we're going to talk about. I did it before. We're going to do it again. Shit. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. My bad, y'all. For real. Man, my bad. Cut the mic off and shit. But this is ridiculous. We're going to have to talk about this today. We just don't get it, huh? We are gluttonies for punishment. We just want to, we want to get fucked up. We want to be the entertainment. Because sometimes we just don't get it. So we're going to get into it today. For real. Because I'm done. I'm just tired of telling black folk to stay out of other people's business and mind your own. Let's get it. Man. How many times have I told y'all? But you know what? Some people just don't learn. So we're going to play. If we can find some video of this incident.
This isn't Sherman. No wonder I don't.
Oh, God. I'm just so sick of talking about this shit. But I have to. We have to discuss it because we got to understand, man. It's called being on code, staying out of shit that don't involve you or your people. Sometimes you got to let everybody else handle their own business and stay out of it because ain't nobody going to fight for you. Black folk always sometimes have that white knight syndrome too and want to be fighting other people's fucking battles but can't fight your own. So we're going to discuss this. Let's get it.
Video circulating online showing the protests at the University of Mississippi in Oxford, but there's one video, the one that you showed up a moment ago, that video in particular that has gone viral and is at the center of this controversy. Before I show you the video, we need to warn again our viewers that it may be offensive to some people.
This is a video at Ole Miss where these white folk were protesting and doing what they do, acting a fool. And this sister comes out there. It don't matter what sister would have been. And they start making monkey noises and stuff like that. But here's the thing. Why are we putting anything past the dominant society at this point in life? And why is it, this isn't a foundational Black American issue. This is an issue between the dominant society and the dominant society. So why the fuck are you even out there drawing unwarranted attention to yourself in Mississippi? Man.
As you can see, the video shows a group of mostly young white men in the counter-protest yelling at a black woman. At least one counter-protester is seen on video and appears to be making gestures at the woman. We now know who the woman in the video is. Her name is Jalen R. Smith, and she's 24 years old. She confirmed to my colleague, Diane.
And she needs to understand this is what they gonna do. And put them dominant society, suspected white supremacists on blast, because at the end of the day, a protest ain't got nothing to do with making monkey noises and calling us niggas and all. That don't do nothing remind me of the goddamn 50s.
That she is the woman seen in the video. Smith said that during the protest, pro-Palestinian demonstrators were kept in an enclosure which police said was for their safety. She also said that she briefly stepped out of the enclosure to go live on social media.
See, what are you doing, man?
And that was when the confrontation took place. CNN has made efforts but has not identified any of the counter-protesters seen in the video. We have also learned that the University of Mississippi has opened an investigation into student conduct, but didn't say.
White people investigating other white people. What did I tell you? That's what they do at the Court Plantation. They do that for imagery. They don't give a fuck about them white boys making nigga noises and monkey noises and all this other shit at that sister. They don't care about nothing about that. I'm telling you, they probably like, what is this dumb bitch out here doing? And this is what I'm thinking. What the fuck are you out there doing? If ain't no foundational Black American got armed, shot, killed, maimed, hung, any of those things, you need to stay the fuck out of it. God damn.
Who or what they were specifically investigating. In a letter, Chancellor Glenn F. Boyce says university officials are, and here I quote, aware that some statements made were offensive, hurtful, and unacceptable, including actions that conveyed hostility and racist overtones. Smith tells CNN she said some insults back to the counter-protesters, but adds the following, and here I quote again, people calling me fat or Lizzo, I should say, didn't hurt my feelings because I know what I am. I am so confident in my blackness. I am so confident in my size, in the way that I wear my hair and who I am. They do not bother me. If anything, I feel pity for them, she goes on to say, for how stupidly they acted. And Fred, the controversy took another turn when U.S. Representative Mike Collins, a Republican representing parts of Georgia, shared the viral video on X the following day saying, Ole Miss taking care of business. CNN has reached out to Collins' office, but there hasn't been an answer so far. And then yesterday, Congressman Collins' tweet prompted the NAACP.
This man can't even read.
To send a letter to congressional leadership asking for an investigation into Collins' conduct. In part, the letter says the following. These actions conducted by a member of the House of Representatives, regardless of intent, legitimize and propagate racism and undermine the principles of equality and justice that our government is sworn to uphold.
All right, let's get this, because that was some bullshit. All right, this is what I think. This is exactly what I think. That Congress Republican who said what he said, he meant what he said. Take care of business. Get that nigga bitch up out here. That's how they feel. That's why Neely Fuller Jr. says, and I quote for the 1,000th time, when you see two white supremacists having a disagreement, that means protesting, debating. You don't choose a side, you dumbass. What you do is you sit back, because all they are doing is fighting and fighting about who's the biggest slave master, if they're not replacing the system of racism, white supremacy, and establishing the system of justice, meaning the racial group that needs the most constructive help receives the most constructive help, they're just arguing about being the biggest slave master. So why would you get involved in that and make it about you in a sense? I don't know what that sister was doing, but I would have told that sister, hey, back, let's go. See, where are the other black folk? Come on, let's go for a walk. Oh, well, they're stupid. It don't matter if they're stupid. Let's just go for a walk. Let's talk about this in private. Let's go hold a fucking Twitter space. Let's do our own. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it behind closed doors. No, seriously, that's what you're supposed to do to your people. Hey, let me holler at you for a second. Let's talk about it. What do you mean? Well, they should be doing it. I get that. What else? Well, that's wrong. What's happening to Palestine or what's happening to the Jewish community? I get that. So how else do you feel? Such. And get it off your chest with a foundational Black American. Don't go amongst them thinking you choosing the side that one of these dominant society motherfuckers is gonna have your back. Nobody has your back. They want you to get involved to make it bigger than what it is. They need you to play the political hierarchy of needs. Have y'all heard of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs? They teach that in high school. They want us to participate in that. That's what makes it what it is. They want us to participate. They want us to do that. They do it all over the United States of America Incorporated. They just did it with the Lakers. They needed Magic Johnson to participate so he can lure in black athletes, because black athletes, in my personal opinion, didn't really want to fuck with the Lakers, especially after Luke Walton was coaching their asses with his whack ass, his non-playing basketball ass. So then they use Magic. Magic gets involved, not getting paid what he's worth. I know he wasn't because he had his own businesses, and he did state that. And then when Magic got to doing work, what did dominant society do? They go to work. Oh, fuck Magic, fuck that nigga. It's, talking shit, starting rumors. Oh, he ain't here, he ain't doing his job, all this other shit. Then instead of the owner, a dominant society, Jeannie Buss, instead of her firing a white motherfucker that was doing that, no, she act like she don't know what's going on. To the detriment of her relationship with Magic. Now they been doing this type of shit. They not your friend. Not in that. If they were your friend in that capacity, they'd be telling you what's being said when you're not in the room, like Dr. Frances Cress Welsing said. And they would be establishing a system of justice. Meaning, Jeannie Buss would not have fired Darvin Ham, who's a black man, foundational Black American, and that coaching staff was predominantly black, and keep the white man who put the goddamn sorry-ass team together. So what does that tell you about the leadership of the Lakers organization, or a lot of them? Remember the fucking Clippers? Donald Sterling, and I quote, I give these niggas their lifestyle. Fuck these niggas. And fuck Magic Johnson too. He ain't done shit for these niggas. I'm the one who's paying these niggas. And I quote. And by the way, Clippers named after the Baltimore Clipper, a slave ship. But anyway, we can digress from that. I'm just saying, these are things that we need to understand and know about. The fuck you doing? And Ole Miss going in their goddamn confrontations and they bullshit and don't think they ain't gonna make fun of you. They don't give a fuck about you. I don't care how much motherfuckers smile with you and, hey, how's it going? At the end of the spectrum, if you jump in between what they got going on, they gonna all turn on you. That's why you don't get in the middle of what the fuck they got going on. You better have a Muhammad Ali approach. When they try to send him over there to Vietnam and all that, he's like, them people ain't did nothing to black folk, so I ain't going over there and fight no damn war. They want everybody to get involved in they bullshit. Look, let me tell you something. David Okamai, James Youngblood, all y'all, this is a fact. My family included. Everybody has worked with someone where a black person always want to get involved in dominant society conflict. Hey, such with such, and she wrong because, she told me, and I'm like, oh, so what do you think? Oh, yeah, they gonna write her up and all that. Oh, yeah, so you really think they gonna do that? Yep. But that same messy-ass dominant society motherfucker still there, still getting paid, and not doing no work. There comes a point where I've always been like, why are you even worried about what they fucking got going on? I remember one time, and this is a fact, y'all. I can't even make this up. This was about 9 years ago. I remember I was working at a corporate plantation in a certain department, and every time I came to fucking work, this older black dude would always pull me to the side. Hey, well, you know, such. And then one day I was like, bro, I don't even really give a fuck, dog. I'm just trying to do my job and that's it. Like, I wasn't trying to be rude or nothing, but nigga, I'm not immersed in these fucking politics, bro. I got other shit going on. Man. For real, man. Shout out to my little bros, Donnie, man. Me and Donnie, we worked together about, 10, 12 years ago. And Donnie used to always be like, man, bros, like, you don't, man, fuck these motherfuckers, man. That's when I was like listening to a lot of, I would say woke, not consciously woke, like, you know, tapping into your chakras and all that. But I was listening to a lot of podcasts that were really just kind of saying what we deal with at work. And I was just listening to a lot of that shit. Shout out to Corey Holcomb. He was like I've been listening to Corey Holcomb since 2008. Since he was on Speedy's Comedy Corner at, I forgot what it was called. Jamie Foxx ran that station at Sirius XM or whatever. The Foxhole. Yeah, I've been listening to him since then. And when he got his own podcast, I remember he had preachers on there and he was kind of going, he had Jamal Bryant on there and he was kind of going in. I don't know if y'all know who Jamal Bryant is, but he's a big mega pastor. And he had him on there. He had some real big time pastors on there and he was like keeping it real, how he felt about shit. And when he would talk about his experience at jobs, I could relate because he'd be like, there's always some ass kissing motherfucker, always some racist ass white person, treat niggas all fucked up, treating you like you should be thankful I'm giving you a job under me where I'm telling y'all niggas like, I started to notice that, like, you know, and let's not even get into when I start reading. Oh my God. I'll say about 11 years ago when I really started reading, and paying attention. And then once I read Dr. Frances Cress Welsing's book, The Ice Papers, Keys to Color, and I read Black Labor, White Wealth, I remember I told one of my homegirls, my homegirl Jerica, I was like, hey man, read this Isis Papers, Keys to Color. Once she read that shit, she was like, this book cold. I was like, I told you, psychologically, that helped me out a lot. Let me tell you the 3 books that really helped me. Black Labor, White Wealth, The Isis Papers by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, and The United Independent Compensatory Counter-Racist Code of Ethics by Neely Fuller Jr. Those 3 books, that's your combo. The reason why I say that's your combo because that taught me a lot. It just taught me a lot. It taught me how to think. It taught me how to move. It taught me like how to view shit. Why are you getting involved in other people's shit? I'm telling you, I worked in it. I'm gonna give you other examples of the same black dude. I've worked around black dudes that, I remember I worked around this one nigga. Man, this nigga was cool as fuck. We worked at Opportunity Village together. He's like my supervisor. Nigga, it wasn't even work. This is what we do all day. We would work, you know, you gotta be with your clients at Opportunity Village. It was dope. I liked it. That was the funnest job I probably had, low key. It was easy, no holidays off, and you just fucking do your job and you go to fuck home. And I remember this is what we would do at work. Shout out to my nigga, Jadakiss Beanie Siegel. Ooh, I gotta go to Jadakiss. Nas a Hove. I gotta go with Nas. Rakim Kane. I would go with Rakim. Like, that's what we did all day. Outkast, our goodie mob. I gotta go with Outkast. Okay. Dungeon Family or Wu-Tang Clan. I might have to go with Wu-Tang Clan. Like, that's what we did all day. We never talked about the job. Dude, let me tell y'all something. When you work with a foundational black American, this brother was from like Alabama. And I knew him because his peoples used to be one of my supervisors at another job I worked at. But let me tell you, when you work with a foundational black American, I'm gonna break this down and I'm staying on course. If you ever watch Collateral with Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise and Jada Pinkett, when Jamie Foxx was driving that taxi cab, he had a picture. In that picture, it was like a beach or something, and that's what he would focus on to buy at the time. And I feel like a lot of foundational black Americans are like that. And me and him, man, that time went by so fucking fast. Oh, man. And they hated it. Because me and him, we would just be chopping it up all day. Talking about music, rap, talking about new music. Matter of fact, he's the one who put me on the Jeezy in like 03, 04. Before anybody heard Jeezy, I'm talking about on the West Coast, I was bumping Jeezy way before everybody else. Because I had a system in my car, so I was bumping the fuck out of Jeezy. This was probably like 03, into 03, maybe the beginning of 04. And we would just talk about hip hop. Man, that was the best time I ever had working a job. Because we didn't talk about the job and the bullshit politics and all that sucker shit. No, fast forward years later, I work with another nigga. All he want to do is pull me to the side every 5 minutes, gossiping about what these white folk doing at the job. Who give a fuck, man? Like, who cares? That's the problem, man. Black folk, we too invested in their political hierarchy of needs. This system ain't for you. Warren, what are you talking about? I read a book called The Wealth Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbro. Look him up. Dr. Dennis Kimbro. Man, in that book, he breaks down black folk. He went around interviewing all kinds of millionaires and billionaires. And guess what? One thing we had in common, how we get treated at the corporate plantation. So a lot of these people left and started their own fucking companies because we know what it is. If you sign up to work at a corporate plantation, you sign that contract, because when you sign on that, you're signing the contract, and when you sign, you're basically saying you are adhering to all the bullshit they got going on. So I don't know why sometimes we want to interject in what the fuck they got going on. Because, you know, they're waiting on us to jump into it. That's why that ain't our fight. Whatever these colleges are protesting about, each black student union should get on the phone with other black student unions across the United States of America and be like, hey, everybody stay out of that shit. You're going to bring more harm to yourself than good. And it ain't even your fight and your business. That's why I be like, man, what the fuck is wrong with people, bro? Like, all this bullshit, what's wrong with y'all? That's the shit that I be worried about. Like, what are y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? Stay out of that shit. They ain't got shit to do with you. Look, it gets to the point where you even kind of be like, oh, this person ain't doing it. And then see, sometimes FBA people can reel in other FBA people. And I remember now I'm involved with like, yeah, he shouldn't be doing that. And then I had to catch myself. And I was just like, man, that's when I think that by that time I was reading Neely Fuller Jr.'s book. Because I read his book about 10 years ago. And I remember when I read his book, I was like, man, I'm not fucking getting involved. Like, especially after I read his book. Like, because I read his book. I read Black Layer White Wealth first, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing's book second. And then a third, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember the order. I know for the third book that had the biggest impact on me was Neely Fuller Jr.'s book. And one of the main ones, when he was like, when you see two suspected white supremacists debating or arguing, if they're not replacing the system of racism, white supremacy, and establishing a system of justice, that's just two white supremacists arguing about who the biggest slave master is, who's the biggest plantation owner. So never choose a side, because the side doesn't end well for you anyway, because they're not going to help you. So that's when I started to learn, and I did not participate in these social hierarchy of needs. Like, people want you to do that. That's why I get so irritated with our people when we do each other like that. I don't like when families do that. That's why I don't get involved in nobody's family business. I don't want to do that shit. I don't want to be involved in that shit because, like, it's very toxic. It's a toxic environment for black people to be around because of slavery, which creates the four-wall effect like Neely Fuller Jr. was talking about. Just everybody getting together and complaining without no fucking solutions. Well, here I'm bringing solutions. Stay the fuck out of it. And if you see any Foundation of Black Americans, just pull them to the side like, hey man, I wouldn't get involved in that if I were you. You know what I mean? That's it. Like, man, look, we see all kinds of bogus bullshit all day, every day. I know it bothers us. And we can complain amongst each other and have these conversations amongst other Foundation of Black Americans. But when it gets to the point where now you are vested in it and pissed off about it, you got to get out of that. I worked in an office like that, where now I'm all invested in trying to prove I'm the good work. You know, we all go through that at one point in time in our life. And then I just got to the point where I was like, I swear to God, y'all, I was like, you know what? Fuck these motherfuckers. I'm about to put these earphones on, listen to a podcast, listen to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, or listen to Dr. John Henry Clark or just, I was just listening to a podcast. A lot of times I just be listening to like podcasts where they talk about social situations that we go through. I just listen to podcasts like that, and I would pass my time, and I look up and it'd be time for me to go home. I mean, I became so introverted to the point where they try to have a little bullshit investigation. But look, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I was so non-vested in that social hierarchy of need experiment. A lot of my coworkers that were a part of Dominant Society, they fucked with me on GP because I didn't do none of the bullshit. I'm not patting myself on the back like I was just all hell Warren, but I was approachable, but I just wouldn't like participate and gossip about what these people are doing at these jobs. I just didn't care. And then I remember a couple of white dudes came up to me and was like, hey, Warren, this is a true story. This is years ago. Hey, Warren, like they pulling us in the office asking why you not talking to people. Shout out to the homie. He's a white boy too. And I was like, for real? He's like, yeah. He's like, I told him, he said, look, bro. I fucking told him, hey man, I see Warren every day. We have a good conversation. We talk about life. You know, he just doesn't want to talk about the job. And I don't either. You know how the white people are like, I don't want to talk about that. He's like, bro, I've been here longer than everybody, and fuck, man, like I just want to do my job and fucking go home. Like, I don't give a fuck about all this shit going on. That was one. Then another white boy come up to me, same thing. Like, yeah, man, I might be in a little bit of trouble because I was like, you know, why you guys calling people in here? He hasn't done anything to anybody. What is this for? Why are you guys doing this? And these were dudes that were there before me, and I was like, damn, for real? He was like, and then they all kind of came in there. We was in like a little lounge area, and all the leadership was gone, and they had came in there, and it was everybody in there, like all the staff, and they was like saying, it was like, bro, if we come in here, I never said a word, y'all. I just let them speak. I never said a word. I just listened to them, and everybody was basically saying, if you fucking come in here and start complaining about the job, then you're not being a team player and you're being divisive. And you get in trouble for that. If you come in here and you're happy, but you don't want to talk about the job, but you just want to get your job done, then that's a fucking problem. And then they were talking about me. And if you are friendly to everyone and wanting to help people out, then you're being overly chatty with the staff, and I think that's not good. You know, those type of things, because they would hear the rumblings, and they were starting to tell me what was being said about me in the room, and I didn't say anything, and I just was like, oh man, don't worry about it, y'all, man. I'm just gonna get my stuff and go to work, you know, like I normally do. And one of the dudes a couple of the dudes was like, that shit is not cool. And that's some racist shit. One dude straight said it. And then another white person was like, fuck yeah, that's some racist shit. Sounds like an HR complaint to me. And I was like, man, let's just do the job and go about my way. After that day, a lot of shit changed there. A lot of shit changed because that group of white boys was like, even one white boy was like, because he's not talking and doing what y'all want him to do, now it's a problem. But I'm watching all these other people not come to work, calling in all the time, lazy, don't want to do their job. But Warren, you bust your ass around here. You don't cause no drama. You don't act like no female. Like as far as like gossiping, you just do your shit and go about your way. And I just looked at him and I said, man, it ain't a big deal. He said, it is a big deal. He's like, that's the problem. These people don't know what the fuck is going on. And I'm fucking tired of them pulling people to the side. That's bullshit. And then I noticed leadership started treating me different. You know why they started treating me different? Because they were shocked I had the will of the people. Most black folk, in my personal opinion, if you are a foundational black American, you have the will of the people. You just don't know it yet. See, they know the majority of us are leaders in our own right. And they're worried about that. And I was told that. I was told that by several people, not just that I work with, other people in other departments was like, Warren, they don't like you because all the white boys follow behind you. I had a Latinos say that. I had a white lady say that to me. And I had a sister say that to me. Yep. They don't like the fact that you have more of influence over them than they do. And when you say something, everybody listen. And the sister was like, you know how we are when we get on these jobs? They watch how we work. And once they see that we can outwork everybody, either they're jealous or they have an affinity for us. And I told my homegirl, I was like, man, I ain't trying to lead nobody. I'm just doing my job and getting the fuck on. She was like, but Warren, it's natural for you. They fuck with you. And then leadership try to treat me a lot different after that, but I got the fuck away from them. I was like, I'm out. and by the way, after I left that department, everybody left. All the white boys, all the people that was over there, once they found out I left, rallied around me, gave me a hug, like, we all leaving. I was like, yeah, they just saying that. All the motherfuckers left. All the motherfuckers left. And still would try to reach out to me like, man, fuck that. You know what I mean? If you was ever, in a position of power, I'll fucking work for you, bro. You have to be that way. You don't go jumping into their social hierarchy of needs. Just be you. And keep to yourself and be a recluse. And it happens damn near in every department I go to. Every department I go to is kind of that way. That's why I just kind of keep to myself. And the reason why I'm saying this to y'all, and I'm telling you this right now, is because when you naturally are not vested in it, people see that. Some people are inquisitive, and some people are like, damn, why are they not naturally invested? And when you don't explain it to people, and you just keep doing your job, it's gonna show. And people really just gonna leave you alone, let you do what you do. You don't go out of your way to get involved in other racial groups' problems, because I don't. I had to back away. Once I read Nearly Full of Dreams book, I'm telling you, once I read that book about 10 years ago. Once I read that book, done. Or maybe 10 or 8 years ago, I just know once I read that fucking book, I was done. I was like, nope. And that was right around the time when, after I read his book, I just put my earphones on and didn't talk to people anymore. Because I was like, Nearly Full of Dreams is fucking right. Like, these people ain't trying to help us. They trying to help them. So why the fuck am I going to be invested in what the fuck they got going on? And I just wasn't invested no more. To the point where I got called in the office. Oh, why you so quiet? I said, I didn't know that it was a policy and procedure for me to come in here and entertain people. I'm not here for people's entertainment. Oh no, Warren, we're not saying that, but you're not. I said, oh, am I not joking and smiling and laughing? Well, there's nothing to joke, laugh, and smile about. I just kind of want to do my job and that's it. Oh, well, we just want to make, I am fine. If I was not fine, you would know it. That's why I got the fuck out of there. No, they just want you to be a grinning nigga. And real motherfuckers that got confidence, y'all, they don't want you to be a grinning nigga. They want you to be who you are. And you got to learn how to separate the two. A job is what you do, but it's not who you are. And interjecting yourself into other racial matters, that ain't your problem. You need to be worried about our racial matters, not nobody else. We don't own no banks. We don't own no ships. We don't own no resources. We don't own nothing, but we want to be all in participating with everybody else's bullshit problems. And I know I went over today, but I had to get this off because I'm like, why do we keep doing this? It's like we are gluttony for punishment. Why would you want to be a gluttony for punishment? That's why now any corporate plantation, oh shit. Look, y'all, it went from Warren being vested in the corporate plantation. Then when I went to, this was years later. I gotta say this, I gotta get off, man. I go on and on. That's why I thought about writing the book. This white lady straight told me, she said, you do your work, you do everything, you show up, you do your job. She's like, you just quiet, you don't really say nothing. And I was like, yeah, I kind of just want to do my job. Yeah, like you don't participate, you don't get involved, you just, no. I'm not vested in what y'all got going on, man. That's how you last at these core plantations. Don't be invested in what the fuck they got going on. For what? Why? When? Like who has the mental fortitude to just do that? Man, I'm trying to worry about how I'm gonna pay my bills and shit. I'm worried about my family. I ain't fucking worried about nobody's punk ass job. For what? Man. And that's how we're all supposed to be. Now, of course, my response was, oh, I apologize. I just tend to be a recluse because I'm, you know what I use? I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm going to keep that shit out all the way a buck. I used the Neely Fuller Jr. saying, I'm still learning. And that shit works, y'all. That shit fucking works. She's like, well, yeah, you're right. You know, we are constantly learning. So yeah, you make a great point. I said, I'm still learning. And after that, she just kind of left me alone. She never really brung that shit up again about me being quiet and not participating and little group activities. I was like, I'm just still learning. So you can learn a lot from these books. I suggest y'all go read Neely Fuller Jr.'s book, The United Independent Compensatory Counter-Racist Code of Ethics. Go read that book by Neely Fuller Jr. He says it in every broadcast he's on, I'm still learning. And that's exactly what I said. I was like, I'm still learning. I'll be using a lot of them tricks. Them shits work. I mean, it's like a cheat code. I'm like, yeah, I'm quiet. I'm still learning. I've done that twice. And both times I've been left alone. Because both times I've been told, like, man, you quiet. Yeah, I'm quiet. Because in my mind, I don't give a fuck about participating and being involved in y'all socially hierarchy of needs bullshit. That's why that sister that went out there with them white folks, like, what are you doing? And what did you hope to accomplish? Well, because I went on my social media. Okay, I get all that, but that's dangerous to do with all these white folk. Now they all looking at you. They can get together and crowd mob and fuck with you. Like, we got to think of our safety too. We can't just be out here doing shit like that just for clicks and views. You are in Mississippi. You are not in LA or in Vegas. These people will round up the KKK and set that motherfucking college on fire. You better leave them people alone and worry about you and your people. I am done. Guilty, nigga. Peace. Oh, man. One day we gonna learn.